If you're a facilities manager at a university, you know students rely on the cafeteria for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the occasional late-night snack. So when a dishwasher breaks down and dirty plates pile up, the mess hall can turn messy in the blink of an eye. Enter Grainger. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast delivery, the product you need now is never far away. So you can turn that dishwasher back into a lean, clean washing machine. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh, sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This
will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver Common Sense Show. I'm on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on. And welcome to the Reaver Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. I'm here to make sense out of the senseless, or at least attempt to. We got some stuff tonight that's just going to question these people's sanities. It's... Oh, I forgot to do that. There we go. Let me get this muted. Oop. All right. If you're tuning in, you can join the chat on YouTube. Or if you're listening in through Rumble, you can jump on and chat and join the conversation. Now, we're going to start the show. I'm going to play a little YouTube clip. And I'm playing it because, all right, it's about a almost 8-minute clip. The gentleman that does this YouTube page, I think it's Colin Noir. He's a Second Amendment advocate, and this case just hit in New York, and it blew my mind. There's no other way to say it. What this judge has said in her court blew my mind. And she needs to be removed. No ifs, ands, or buts. She needs to be removed. Again, Reaver Common Sense brought to you by coffee. And of course, I got my Red Bull with me. Because Red Bull gives me burpees. All right, let's play this video. And I don't own the rights to this video. This is Colin Noir. And if he finds out and he doesn't like it, let me know. I'll be more than glad to take it down. He explains this a little bit more eloquently than I will. We'll go over more after the video. But, all right, here it is.
A delusional New York judge had the audacity to tell an attorney during trial when he brought up the Second Amendment during his opening statement, mind you, do not bring the Second Amendment into this courtroom. It doesn't exist here. So you can't argue Second Amendment. This is New York.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I'm going to rewind that for everybody, just so you understand what this judge, who swore to uphold the Constitution, said. Ready?
Judge had the audacity to tell an attorney during trial when he brought up the Second Amendment during his opening statement, mind you, do not bring the Second Amendment into this courtroom. It doesn't exist here. So you can't argue Second Amendment. This is New York.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Ma'am, it's New York, a state in America with a constitution, not Sparta, where you can just Leonidas front kick amendments you don't like out of the Constitution.
This is Sparta!
But
Could you imagine? And yes, I'm going to go to the race here. A white judge saying the 13th Amendment does not exist in this court.
At your job, do you ever have to deal with a nose roller? How about a snub pulley? Well, if you're installing a new conveyor belt system, dealing with the different components can sound like you're speaking a foreign language. Luckily, you've got a team ready to help. Grainger's technical product specialists are fluent in maintenance, repair, and operations. So whenever you want to talk shop, just reach out. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Think about that. This judge said the Second Amendment does not exist in her court. What other, if we allow this to happen, what other amendments, what other rights will be allowed to be taken away from us by a judge? Because they don't agree with it, so they don't want it in their court.
this is indeed what a judge in the United States of America said to the attorney of a man who was on trial for building guns in his own home under the Constitution. That man's name is Dexter Taylor.
Yeah, okay. So some time ago, I became interested in
All right, this is going to the last show I talked about the 80% guns. It's 80% finished machining. There's still 20% machining that needs to be done on this. This is not some... Okay, I can go and buy we'll talk about AR and the lower receivers and all that. I'll order all those parts and build my own gun. Now, because I don't have the machine capability in my head, I don't have the machines to do it. So I buy the ones with the serial numbers because I need it complete. I don't have the ability. Now, this gentleman, amongst with countless people, do have the ability. Again, and I discuss, you have a fucking right to build a gun in your home. You can't sell it, and you can't take it across state lines. Period. So he's building these for his personal enjoyment.
gunsmithing. Ever since I was a kid, I really, like most kind of red-blooded American kids, I was interested in guns and, tanks and fighter planes and because it was cool, And so, but maybe 3-4 years ago, maybe I became really interested in gunsmithing, and I thought this would be a really cool thing to do, really traditional and really kind of and possibly even leading to a second career. I've been a software developer forever, but I also make stuff, and so anyway, fast forward a bit. I started actually building weapons. I started building firearms. So I learned from guys like Machine Gun Builder. Marine Gun Builder, right? Who builds pistols, 80% pistols. It's like I found out that you can actually legally buy a receiver, and you can machine that receiver to completion, and you buy your parts and you put together, and you've got a pistol or a rifle. And once I saw that, I was hooked. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. This is the most cool thing you could possibly do in your machine shop, because I have a machine shop in my basement. And so I make furniture and I make different stuff, and that's a whole other story. But anyway, I started doing that, and there was no subterfuge. It's like I bought them on my credit cards under my name because they were my weapons that I built. And at a certain point, the state of New York took an interest, and in April of 2022, a joint SWAT ATF task force raided my house, like broke down my door and everything. And yeah, it was. I remember it's like April 6th, was it? Yeah. And I'd gone to bed listening to an audiobook, woke up and I heard voices that were not the audiobook, and then I heard a bang, and then I heard, where are my police? Don't warn me, that kind of sound, and I saw weapon lights flickering under the door of my bedroom. So first thing I did was I said, hello, hello, hello. I thought they had the wrong place, because it never occurred to me that someone quietly sitting at home manufacturing rifles or pistols or whatever would be a problem that New York State was like, we've got to go and get this. It just never occurred to me that anyone would come up in my house like that. Like, I have a clean criminal record.
Unfortunately, the jury in Taylor's case was just as delulu as the judge, because they found him guilty, and now he's in jail on Rikers Island.
Rikers Island, New York.
That's right. This man who was building guns in his basement legally, but because he lives in a communist state. And this is how far the Democrats have gone down the rabbit hole. They are jailing Americans, denying their First Amendment right. Second Amendment right. Denying this man's Second Amendment right. And they put him in jail. And this judge ignored constitutional law. And what will happen to this judge? Absolutely fucking nothing. Because she's doing the bidding of the Democrat Party. The destruction of the United States and our constitutional rights. Hell, I had a conversation with somebody earlier today on good old TikTok. Listen, I do TikTok just for the fun of it because I know it pisses off a bunch of liberals. I have fun doing that. And we should regulate and license guns like we do cars. So we got the straw man argument. I see. All right. And my question to these idiots, are you okay that you should have to get then a license and register when you want to have free speech, when you want to practice your religion? When you want free journalism? When you want the Fourth Amendment right? You have to go get a license for it. How about the 13th Amendment? To be free from slavery, you have to register with the government and get a license. Of course, came back, well, what about RPGs and rockets and blah, 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 blah. Diverting from the conversation with an absolute asinine comment. How I listen, if laws worked to stop criminals, to stop the gun violence, we need one fucking law. Murder is against the law. Period. Because you're not going to be able to kill anybody with a gun. You're not going to be able to shoot them because it's against the law already. But criminals don't listen. So the only thing you're doing by regulating and licensing is restricting Americans' right to protect themselves. I've told the story in the past, and I'll tell it again. 1981? I always get 1981 or 1983. Hold on, because I don't want to give the wrong story here. Oh, where is that article? Whenever I need it, I can never find that article. Let me check one last thing. Let me do a quick search. Sorry about this. Let me see if I can find. Sometimes I can find an article real easy. Sometimes it's really hard to find. And I have it saved. It's going to drive me up a wall. All right. It's going to drive me up a wall now. Damn it. I can find every other folder. All right. I'm not going to waste any more time, sir. 1981. My father was shot. My father took 2 bullets. We lived in New Jersey. He worked in Hamilton Township. To be exact, it was Yardville. Or was it Yardley? Yardville. I always get Yardley and Yardville. Yardley's in Pennsylvania and Yardville's in New Jersey. Him and his boss worked in a shot blast. These machines were shot blast machines. They're about a couple tons, maybe 1 to 2, 3 tons each. There's no money in the place. There's nothing of real value. And no, the Phantom, my tablet, the battery's dead in it. And a guy walked in and pulled out a gun. Now, in New Jersey, it's illegal to concealed carry, pretty much. To get a concealed carry permit, you basically have to pull a rabbit out of your ass and beg the government for permission. And then they're going to deny you. New Jersey is very anti-gun. This guy walked in and pulled a gun. Held my dad and his boss, Bill, basically hostage. There was a conversation between the guy, the gunman, and Bill. And my dad's standing there, I should say, defenseless. No gun. No way to defend himself. Standing there. Then the next thing you know, he hears 2 shots. The guy fired 2 shots, point blank, in Bill's head, killing him instantly. My father knew he was next. Now, the guy had my dad have his back towards him. But just as the guy turned, my dad started turning because the shots rang out. He fired 2 shots. My dad fell. And he walked out. Poof. Gone. My dad was forced there by the state of New Jersey to stand there defenseless against a criminal who didn't give a shit about the laws. The only one that was following the law was the law-abiding citizens, Bill and my father. And they sat there victims. Tell me how your bullshit gun laws helped my father. 23 surgeries in 10 years. 23 surgeries in 10 years. and a lot of health problems the rest of his life. And of course, Hamilton PD never found the shooter, never solved the murder and attempted murder. And probably that case is somewhere in a basement, shoved in a corner. But tell me how gun laws help. They don't. But I'll tell you what. I live in a state of Florida. We have the right, the God-given right to concealed carry without permission. I will never be a victim. Because that is what anti-gun laws create. They create victims. And this judge jailing a guy for legally building guns in his basement as a hobby and possibly learning to become a gunsmith and denying his Second Amendment right. Remember what she said. Here. Remember, this is what she said.
Trial when he brought up the Second Amendment during his opening statement, mind you. Do not bring the Second Amendment into this courtroom. It doesn't exist here. So you can't argue Second Amendment. This is New York.
This is America, or it's supposed to be. This is the United States of America. There is a thing called the Constitution that you are supposed to uphold, and you denied that man's constitutional rights. How we allow this? How do we allow this as U.S. citizens? How have we let our government get out of control? I have built my own guns. Not the 80%. I've ordered and gotten them with serial numbers. And I built them myself because it saves money. I'm sorry, when we got Biden economics fucking us in the ass, I'm going to try to save as much money as I can. It scares me to think the direction this country is going in. Because every time you think, okay, it's going to get better from here. It's going to get better. It doesn't. Look at the shit we got going on in these universities. Praising a terrorist organization. Calling for the death of the Jewish people. Illegal. Taking over campuses. And this isn't just spur of a moment. No, it isn't. These are pre-planned. There is, let's see if I can find the document. I know I'm not prepared today, am I? I swear I saved a bunch of stuff and now I can't find it. Let me go. Replies. there is a document going about showing that there was a letter sent from a Columbia to Princeton personnel, and it talks about how especially one in Columbia, was pre-planned months ago for these protests, and how it's being funded, how they are to take over. Oh, this is driving me up a wall. Here it is. Let me see if I can. Oh. No. Hang on. There. Technical issues. Like I said, I'm still trying to get used to. I want to get this document up. Because this shows, a coordinated effort. Yes. All right. Let's go through this document. Introduction 101 report from Columbia ADUI. I guess that's a gentleman's name. I'm trying to pull up over here. No. Give me one more second. I know. I'm behind the 8 ball today again. Was it SHR? Let's see, here it is. All right. Our big needs, based on Columbia meeting, banners, flag, list of demands, team that is willing to bargain. Division of programming. Here, let me enlarge that for you. How's that? Does that help out? All right. Look at our big needs based on Columbia meeting. Banners and flags, list of demands, teams that is willing to bargain, division of programming, tactical demand teams, security risk assessment. Structure of launching encampments. Teams of 7 to 8 came from different locations. They started off with 60 campers. Signed jail support form. Willing to risk arrest is suspensions. Publicized at daybreak. Choose space that university needed for commencement. Central lawn, bringing people in and emphasizing community. Site that is public and that the university needs. Do not pick the site of historic occupation, internal occupation. Risk 78 more encampments launching. Keep other people timeline in mind. Collective ownership over encampment. Group discussions, voting. Columbia was planning for over a month. Original goal was 250 campers. Safety in numbers. Size can pick up quickly. Community support. Princeton town. Surrounding the campsite, other protesters putting bodies between counters and campers. This is what you're sending your kids to school for. And there is, like I said, I had so many articles picked out for this. I also went through to clean out the bookmarks, and I wonder if I knocked a couple out. because it showed a company that will get the people together for your takeovers. Yeah, I'm a Columbia student now. Zionists don't deserve to live. I didn't mean to say that. They're calling for the death of Jews. And now that his face is hitting page 1, and there's backlash for his, or I should say consequences for his actions, now he's crying about it. They are not protesting. They're calling for the death of a race. They are nothing but Nazis. Whether they think it's the new cool thing to do, they are fucking Nazis. This is how shit starts. And our government, our Democrats, are allowing it. I know a couple of them have gone out there. No, we can't do that. Blah, 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 blah. Yippity, yip, yip, yip. I don't see any of them shutting this shit down. And they're allowing AOC and all of her little pals to run out there, you know, and approve of it. Palestine is a terrorist country. It's run by Hamas, a terrorist organization that Joe Biden took off the list. How much longer are we going to keep allowing this shit to go on, people? Then they wonder why there's always, in the background, that conversation about civil war. There is a separation in this country that's so big, and I'm not calling for civil war. I'm not calling for violence. But the left sure as hell is pushing for it. And what I find funny is the dumbasses that don't believe in owning guns are trying to start shit with the people that own the guns. I mean, how retarded do you have to be? Yeah, I know. Some people think that's not an acceptable word. I'm not talking about, those that are mentally handicapped. These people choose to be retarded. They choose to make these stupid decisions. They choose to act this way. I'm not talking about the disabled. I'm talking these people choose to do it. So, oh, God, I want my truck back. I know where the hell did that come from. For those that don't know, November I dropped my truck off to get fixed. Cam phasers, Ford F-150. I love my Fords. I love the F-150. But Ford decided to fuck up the cams by making these cam phasers that it adjusts the cam and the timing automatically. And these things blow up after 50,000 miles. Now, this truck means a hell of a lot to me. Before my dad passed away, he went and bought the F-150. We never thought it was going to go the way it did with his health. It is the last thing my father ever gave me, so this truck means a lot to me. But when he bought it, he also got, it's not the Ford warranty, but it's the extended warranty. Bumper to bumper, covers everything, so I dropped it off. My mechanic said, you need to replace the motor. Insurance company played games. Well, it was decided after a while, which is funny, for like $3,000, he found a motor with 5,000 miles on it. Drop it in, ready to go. No, they wanted to just replace the cam phasers. So he replaced cam phasers. Both him and they sent out a person to inspect it. Both of them said the motor, there's something else going on with it internally. Places a vent, the cam phasers, just problem after problem. Never got the truck back. He just had problem after problem after problem. Motor goes boom. Stops turning over. Gets a hold of the warranty. Blah, 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 blah. Have to wait for them to send out a person. Yes, the motor needs replacing. Found a motor with like 10,000 miles for $4,000. Instead, they went for a motor with 55,000 miles on it and about the same price. Because the motor with 10,000 only had a 3-month warranty, they wanted a 6-month warranty. Now there's issues trying with the motor still. So I dropped it off in November. Still don't have it. Why I bring that up is because, man, I want to go to these protests and, counter protest them. I'm sick of being quiet on this shit. I'm sick of allowing them to have the loud voice. I'm not talking violence. None of that. I'm too old for that shit. What I'm talking about is countering their bullshit. And that's what we need to do. We need to stop allowing them to get away with this shit. Because what it comes down to, it's not who's the most popular opinion. It's who screams the loudest in this country anymore. Because a lot of people, I just don't want to get involved. It's not worth my time. They'll go away. Excuse after excuse after excuse. It allows them and emboldens them and makes them more powerful. I've been saying this for a long time now. And I've been a little bit guilty of it too. I'm not going to take that away. Oh, there's no reason. And they're calling for death of America. That's the other thing too. Now, a lot of these jackasses are here on a visa. You scream death to America, you're on a visa, you're on a plane back home. That's the way it should be. Yes, you have a right to freedom of speech, but you're calling for violence. Calling for death is calling for violence. Bye-bye. You're out of here. Plain and simple. I got a little side with the TikTok. Twice now, I've gotten, 3 times. Twice now, I've gotten a violation. First time I peeled it, the person didn't even watch the damn video and reported me. When they pulled the video up, lo and behold, guess what? I was right. Violation taken away. Now, what's today? Friday. Mondays, I put up. I get hit with a violation. They tell me one more violation, I'll be banned. Then I'm putting out misinformation. I appeal it. They turn down the appeal. I went on Twitter, X, and put in with support on TikTok. Mentioned something. Because nothing I said was wrong. It was factual. It was about Great Barrier Reef. That is not doing that bad. It's doing pretty good right now. I got articles to back it up. It's got record amount of growth right now. All of a sudden, violation disappeared. It's been reinstated. I was like, shit. I was shocked. I was getting ready to post something. I'm going to get taken down anytime soon because they don't like the truth. And that's what it is. These liberals don't like the truth. So they think by reporting it's going to shut me down. I don't give a flying fuck about TikTok. I do it for the fun. I do YouTube for the fun. I do Rumble. My show's also on Spreaker, iHeart, Spotify, Apple. I'll send out fucking smoke signals if I have to. The Rumble I love. I have not had a single issue so far, knock on wood. No issues. I've been able to talk about what I need to talk about. It's my facts. It's my opinions on some stuff, and it's facts on most stuff. I look it up. I back it up. But they don't like it because it goes against their false narrative, their bullshit. And they try to silence. And that tells me something. If you're trying to silence me, I'm going on the right route. And if you do want to support my show, if you notice there's 2 QR codes up on the screen. If you feel like tipping me, buying me a coffee, by all means, I'd appreciate it. If you don't, keep listening for free. It's a free country. I put this out here for free. But if you want to tip me, scan those QR codes. Go ahead, give me a tip. I can't monetize my TikTok. I can't monetize my YouTube. I don't have the numbers. I'm just starting out. Now, it also brings me to, if you would, whether it's with Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Spreaker. If there's a like button, hit it for me, please. If I so deserve that like. Hit the share button for me, please. Share it. Get my message out. Even if you think I'm a joke, what better way to try to embarrass me? Put it out there for more to see. And if you like the message and you like what I have to say, hit subscribe. It's all free. All right, what do we got next? Megan Rapinoe demands trans athlete be allowed to compete against women. But remember, what happened when her team faced the teenage boys? The article goes on, former soccer star Megan, who gives a shit, appears to not have learned her lesson whatsoever, advocating for transgender athletes to compete in women's sporting events, even though she lost to a team of teenage boys a few years ago. Oh, excuse me. Damn Red Bull. On Tuesday, Rapinoe signed a letter along with numerous other athletes that called for NCAA to ensure men claiming to be women would be able to compete against women. We, the undersigned, call upon NCAA, a governing body meant to serve athletes and our well-being, to ensure that life-saving power of sports is accessible to all athletes who compete in championship and emerging sports at and for NCAA member institutions, including transgender athletes. The letter's opening paragraph reads, it goes on to say, banning men from women's sport would severely limit the capability of your members' institution to protect and support their athletes. Banning men from women's sports would severely limit the capacity of your members' institution to protect and support their athletes. Here's a self-hating woman. Women have fought for decades, only to be taken over by men that can't make it in men's sport, so they go and compete against women. And as me and my wife have talked, we've had this conversation. Men and women are different. Neither one is better than the other. We both have pros and we both have cons. And in most sports, men's bodies are more suitable. That's not a 100% across the board, but for the majority, that's the way it is. Again, that does not make women inferior. That makes women different than men. Because they are. They have a hell of a lot of advantages, maybe not advantages, but pros over men. I want to see women succeed. You're not going to have success if it's stacked against you. And that's exactly what's going on. They're stacking the deck against females in sports. Now, of course, I got something thrown at me when we were having this conversation because anybody that knows me, I got to throw in a smart-ass conversation just to be me. Of course, I said something like, men are better at sports unless it's sewing and cooking, which got shit thrown at me. But that's, me and my wife, we make those comments, we make those jokes. We don't have that many limits to these jokes in between us. And that's one of the things that I fell in love with her right away. She was able to take a joke for a joke. And that's what we do. And that's what I do on this show. And if you don't like it, go pound sand up your ass. You don't like that men posing as women shouldn't be allowed to compete with other women. You're sick. So Democrats also ran a focus group to figure out why people don't like Camel Toe Harris. Oh, Camel Toe. Oh, there's other nicknames I've heard. That's one of the things I miss talking with my father. My father was a very quiet man. But when he spoke, it was very insightful or very funny. And the names we would come up for these politicians, Republican and Democrat. But I like mine, Camel Toe Harris. I think his was Camille on her knees Harris. You got Shit for Brains, Shift. So the article starts out, there's just something off about Vice President Camel Toe Harris. Every time I see a video of her, I get the impression she is desperate to be liked, but is fundamentally unlikable. This is a woman that is a bullshit artist. She says a lot of words without saying fucking shit. You know, she went and prosecuted God knows how many people under a litany of laws and now bitches about them. Of course, as someone who completely disagrees with basically every decision that her administration makes, perhaps I'm a little biased. However, it seems that her off-putting aura is something seen by far more people than just me. The Democrat National Committee has been conducting focus groups centered around the vice president, according to CNN. The report Sunday said President Joe Biden's campaign and Harris' own staff still aren't quite sure what people make of her. Thank you, Phantom. Yeah, Krispy Kreme Crispy, or Christie. Yeah, that fat ass. The only thing he's successfully ran for is a goddamn dinner bell. And what did the focus group determine? The bad news. Several people said Harris rubs them the wrong way in all the ways that are familiar from criticism of her, the report said. One thing the people surveyed didn't like about the vice president probably won't surprise you. It's her unusual villainous cackle. Here.
hubby. Poor hubby.
Not
He knows how to sell right there. Okay.
Oh, lordy, 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 that laugh. That would drive me to drink if I was married to that. A few specifically cited her laugh, a frequent target of Republican operatives who flood clips of it on social media, which defendants say plays into sexism. Her laugh plays into sexism, CNN reported. Oh. There are other concerns about the vice president. CNN reported that some in the focus group questioned whether Biden actually likes her. It's noted that top Biden and Harris aides have butted head as she pushes it, to have more of a presence in the administration, while many believe she is better at speaking than the president, which come on, toddlers do too. That doesn't erase the tension between the two. I don't know who speaks better than the other. She does a whole word salad without saying a fucking thing. And this old bastard, here, all right, which will lead me into, where is it? Oh. Oh, come on. There's this one. I hate Fox. All right. Where the hell is it? Let's see if this is it. No. Wait for the commercial to get done. All right, here we go.
We can have child care, paid leave, and so much more, and still reduce the federal deficit and increase economic growth. Folks, imagine what we can do next. 4 more years, pause. What we can do next. 4 more years, pause. What we can do next. 4 more years, pause.
4 more years, pause. How many times has he read the teleprompter and ended up reading the instructions along with it? Then he admits. All right, let me get this one. All right. There we go. You ready?
And folks, in a sense, I don't know why we're surprised by Trump. How many times does he have to prove we can't be trusted? How many times does he have to prove we can't be trusted? Surprised by Trump. How many times does he have to prove we can't be trusted?
How many times does he have to prove we can't be trusted? think about that. He admitted that they can't be entrusted. That's how stupid this guy is. You talk about flubs, and it's not like, okay, it's a flub here, it's a flub there. They happen so often anymore. And they have for his whole presidency. And while he was running from the basement. I can't wait to see. Because he's agreed to debate Trump. I can't wait to see him debate Trump. Trump is going to shred him. He is going to catch that man off guard. He can't think on his own. He can only read a teleprompter, and he fucks that up. Happened once, yeah, oopsie. But it's happened more than once, people. It's happened way more than once. And this man represents us as a country. All right, let's try to get one last article in. There's so many. Arctic sea ice news and analysts. The end of 2023 had above average sea ice growth, bringing the daily extent within the interdecimal range, the range spanning 90% of past sea ice extent for the date. See, here's the thing. When they give you the stats of, oh my God, the sea ice is less. They're taking maybe a measurement from 20 years ago, and there was, let's say, just pulling a number out of my ass, 20 million square feet. Now, because weather does it, it changes, and it shrunk down to 10 million. Well, we now pumped up to 15 million, let's say. Okay? Now, these numbers, I'm just pulling them out of my ass. I don't have actual numbers. I'm just trying to give a representation of what I'm talking about. It's on the rise, the ice is. But because it's lower than that 20 years ago, sea ice is retreating. The Antarctic sea ice decline slowed, moving the daily ice extent values above previous record levels. For the year as a whole, however, low Antarctic ice was a dominant feature. Okay, it's going to shrink. It's going to grow. It's going to shrink. It's going to grow. Mother Nature, bitches. And I'm so sick of this shit. They expect this thing to stay the same year after year after year. That's not what this Earth does. Long time ago, Antarctic was heavy in vegetation, tropical. Sahara Desert was underwater one time, and part of it was tropical. The planet, and this is before humans did this shit change. Our planet changes, and it's going to keep changing. We can't stop it, people. But that doesn't mean we go out and pollute and do whatever the fuck we want. That's the big difference that between some groups on both sides talk about. I don't think we should go out there and pollute constantly. Do whatever we want. But at the same time, I don't think we should be cutting our nose off to spite our face. And these groups are too fanatical. These climate change groups are too fanatical. I got 2 articles on the Great Barrier Reef I didn't get to prove that it's not receding, not dying. We didn't get on so many articles. Ay. Republican registration in swing states skyrockets, showing where Trump stands against Biden. Now, I also heard, well, look at the numbers that voted for Nikki Haley. That shows he's in trouble. No, it doesn't. The low percentages that voted for Nikki, not all of them are not going to vote for Trump now. A lot of them will vote for Trump. Yes, there is a group that won't. It happens every fucking election. We had it in 2016. I heard about the Jeb Bush, the Ted Cruz's, Marco Rubio's. We're not going to vote for. Well, guess what? They fucking voted for him, didn't they? It's rhetoric to try to puff up your point. Guarantee that Trump wins? There's no guarantee. Do I feel he's going to win? From what I see, from the facts, stats, everything, yeah. As long as the Democrats don't overly cheat. And if they to win this, they are going to have to cheat so goddamn bad. It's going to be, they might as well hold up a sign that says we are fucking cheating. That's how bad I think they have to cheat to win. They have no enthusiasm behind Joe Biden. The youth don't want to vote for him. He might bump up a little bit with these new paying off student loans. He bought votes. And still, the Israel thing's got him. The Palestinians don't want to support him. The Israels, a lot of them don't want to support him, how he's handling it. Economy's in the tank no matter how much they bullshit you. The border's wide open that he opened up. Everything going on in this country is because that old man wanted to destroy this country. The Democrats wanted to destroy this country so that they can rewrite the rules in their favor. Chaos allows it. Chaos allows them to put in more laws that restrict us and gives them more power. With that, have a great weekend. I'll be back Monday. Don't forget, you can check out Reaver of Common Sense every Monday and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on YouTube, live on Rumble. Let's see, where else? Facebook live streaming on. I also upload the podcast for a podcast on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, and many more. I can't go over the whole list that the show is being broadcasted out to. With that, I'll see you guys Monday. Have a great weekend, and have some fun.